The only movie I would ever go back and work on is Sucker Punch. That's the only movie that I really think that there would be anything to do, because all of the movies up till now that needed a director's cut got one, you know. And I've been really fortunate and very, I want to say very aggressive in my director's cuts sort of creation. And that's allowed me not to have to go back in a lot of ways, you know, like there's like 3 cuts of Watchmen, you know, that you can get, you know, but, you know, there is a definitive one that I think that's the one, you know. And I think the same thing, Batman versus Superman, obviously, the director's cut is better. You know, Justice League, you know how I feel about that. Obviously, that's better. You know, so it's really, to me, when it's needed, it exists, you know, and I in this case, I almost think that the director's cut of Rebel Moon is an alternative reality version. There's almost like it's not an extended cut of this movie. It's almost like a different movie, you know, it's almost a different universe that movie lives in than this movie. So, and the reason for that is because we've gotten it's such a philosophical thing to shoot a director's cut of a movie before you finish this version. Because 99% of these all of my director's cut existed as a response to things that were demanded of me to take out of the theatrical version, right? Where that demand was never really made, there was just this anticipation that we knew it would be a PG-13 movie. And I was like, well, but in my heart of hearts, I'd always wanted it to be rated R, but you realize the sort of scale and cost of a movie like this, and you're like, okay, well, not 100% responsible to have that be the demand, you know? And so...
When have you been 100% responsible?
Never. But I'm a good partner in that sense, you know? And so I was like, well, what if, you know... By the way, it was Netflix's idea. They're like, well, but what if there was like, we said, you know, do whatever you want over here. You know, do you know, the PG-13 version and then just go nuts. We don't care. And that really is a thing I've never experienced before. It's bizarre. That's why it almost split the dimensional rift happened, you know, when that was said out loud. And I think it'll be really a crazy experience for fans, because it's just like it's kind of it's the fully realized, like, weirdo, you know, heavy metal, bizarro land movie, you know, where, you know, with the PG-13, it can only go so far, and then it has to, you know, there's parameters. This has no parameters, just like, what can you think of, you know? So it's a different experience, but I love them both, and I think it's really fun that they exist.